Hello Cancer, and welcome to Sincere Tarot, where you get the raw honest truth. This is your July tarot forecast, and your theme is the Empress, divine femininity, goddess, Mother Earth, feminine energy, fertility, self-love, being a very nurturing person, really taking care of yourself. This is the Queen of the deck. So let's see what else is in store for you. But before I lay these cards out, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe. It helps me out a lot, so much. And all you have to do is click a little button, all right? Now let's see what's in store for you. Okay, what does Cancer need to know for July? Okay, so you are coming up as the Four of Swords. So as we speak, you are in the process of healing yourself past difficulty and stresses. There might still be a little bit of healing potentially to do on your own, but you've done a really good job, and probably because a lot of nurturing and self-love, okay? I feel like you have been disappointed potentially with something or maybe a person. I'm going to talk like this is a person because I feel like for a lot of you it is someone else, and the other person actually feels more disappointed than you. In fact, they maybe feel like they've been quite generous towards you, and you know, they've been really fighting really hard for you potentially, and now they're at the point where they're like, was it all worth it? In the background, we've got the Queen of Wands, which is a very strong, fiery energy, someone who has a lot of integrity. So I feel like this situation has come into the way that it is because most likely you, but also maybe the other person as well. But I feel like for most of you, you have stayed true to yourself and spoken your truth and what's true for you. And even if that hasn't been, you know, even if you haven't necessarily done that consistently in the past, more recently in the past, at least you have done that to lead into this situation. I feel like this person thinks that maybe they can help you, even though they don't really have necessarily that much even to give, and you are taking it, but I feel like you're not necessarily accepting them. The outcome is the Emperor, which is the counterpart to the Empress. So I feel like you and or this other person, more so you, because you're better aspected. I'll let you know why in a moment. Honestly, I think you're going to get really solid boundaries with this other person. And by the way, it's not like they haven't done anything wrong per se, at least not that I'm seeing in this for this month. I just think that, I don't know, I feel like maybe they're just trying to give to you to get what they want, and there's nothing wrong with getting what you want. It's just not exactly the outcome that they expected, and there's going to be a very solid, healthy boundaries in the future because there might be a little bit of uncertainty about where things stand with you two at the moment. This other person, I feel like, is going to be really, really disappointed and emotionally upset that there are these solid boundaries, but I definitely see you moving on independently because you're being aspected with the Strength card. So I see you moving forward. I see you having healthy boundaries, really taking care of yourself, and I feel like the other person is, you might be leaving someone out left to dry a little bit, but at the end of the day, you have to stay true to yourself, and you have to do what's right for you, and you have to make decisions based on what's best for you overall. I mean, of course, there are exceptions to the rule, but you know, in this case, yes. Let's get some clarifying cards. And after these clarifying cards, interesting. After these clarifying cards, I'm going to pull some advice cards, and then definitely make sure you stick around until the end where you pick your own destiny cards. So I feel like in the past, both of you did gain a lot from one another, and both of you maybe were building towards a life with security. Potentially you were building that together. By the way, this could be romantic, but it could potentially be a business partnership or a friendship, but it was definitely a deep connection where in the past, even so maybe the recent past, you know, you planned on building your lives together potentially. Or maybe one of you got a little bit more money or opportunity, and that may have led to you, and maybe that opportunity was what was right for you and you went with that. So that may have caused that separation. I think this other person really wanted to wear the pants in the relationship. They wanted to call the shots. And I feel like maybe you took that the wrong way. I think that you looked at, but I think this might be because you two were just on different wavelengths, on different pages, because I think when this person, I'm just gonna say he, because for most of you it's a he, okay? When he would actually try and help, he might be the type of person who, I'm going to try and explain this to the best of my ability, but wanted to give physical things. Maybe part of his love language was gift giving, for example, and maybe those things were in a way to try and maybe manipulate and control in a little bit. I think he wanted to have control in the relationship. He may have wanted you to be dependent on him for money, even if it wasn't over the top. But I think that you kind of took that as control, as a way to, that you didn't accept that as kindness. And I think you actually might be quite hurt from that, and that's why you're healing. I feel like, I mean, you two were definitely karmically meant to be in the situation. It doesn't mean that you are going to be together forever, or it's romantic, or it doesn't mean any of that, but both of you had a big lesson to learn from one another. I think about giving and receiving, power and control in relationships, and but honestly, I feel like for both of you in the end, it's going to actually work out quite well, because the lesson that both of you needed to learn was boundaries. You're going to be learning this lesson a lot faster, and that's why you'll be moving on a lot faster. This other person, I think it will take him a little bit longer because he's so emotionally upset at disappointment. I think he still has a lot of emotions invested in his relationship with you, but ultimately both of you will be able to take this as a lesson and have better boundaries, be much more clear about what you want, where you see your individual lives going, and you'll be able to be much better manifestors, which is amazing. So that's good. Yeah, and you're just really taking care of yourself, self-nurturing. Love it. I'll pull some advice cards and then we'll do destiny cards, okay? All right, what advice does Cancer need to know for July? Yeah, okay. All right, so first advice card, we have got the 5 of Swords, and I feel like this probably is, I mean, it can go one of two ways when it comes to advice, but I feel like with the cards that this is meaning, well, one, it might mean you need to stick up for yourself a little bit more, even if it's scary, even if you feel like you're up against more than what you can do. But if you're already doing that and that's energetically draining, then this as an advice card means it might be a good idea just to lay down your sword and walk away. I feel like there may have been just too many arguments because both of you are coming up with swords. So I feel like there may have been many verbal battles between both of you and that caused stress for both of you. Second advice card, we've got Justice. So this can be a Libra influence sometimes, but ultimately it is emotional detachment, to be able to look at things objectively and clearly. So once you've healed and you've emotionally and you're mentally calm, then you're able to step back and observe your emotions, observe the relationship, observe the way that everything went. You'll be able to rationally, logically look at it because you're not going to be so wrapped into the emotional ups and downs or the back and forth, You'll be able to reflect and see things clearly. And you really like things to be fair. And so you'll really take that aspect into the reflection. Third advice card, we have got the 3 of Pentacles. I feel like you've learned a lot about relationships. I feel like you've got kind of a new, wider perspective. There's a blind spot that's now been revealed, and now you've kind of filled that hole with information. And this may have been from, potentially getting advice from different people, or at least learning their perspectives, and you may have had some blind spots. So I feel like both of you, but obviously especially you, have learned a lot about, not just about who you are, about the other person, but about that third aspect, the relationship itself. And you might be a better team player. Fourth advice card, we've got the Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles is saying, be practical, be sensible. And now, because this is talking about a relationship with someone, I mean, you can be super attracted to someone, you can love someone to the moon and back, but if you are not practical and on the same page and compatible, then it's just not going to work. You know, I feel like sometimes people ask, is love enough? And I'm sorry, when it comes to having a happy, many people perceive as a happy, successful relationship, no, love isn't enough. You need to have the same things. You need to have the same desires in life. You need to be, you know, have at least similar personalities, values, the things that are deeper. But this is more about just, could you actually live with this person on a day-to-day basis? Can you organize a life together? Can you just practically, actually, realistically live together? And you have to be practical. You've got to be sensible. I've got, for example, a friend who, she really, really loves this guy, and he's so amazing, and he's all these amazing things. Actually, I've got a number of friends in this situation, but he just doesn't have that drive and doesn't fulfill his purpose, whereas a lot of my female friends, and I'm sure obviously it goes both ways, it's just I know more women than men in my life on a friendship level, so, but just when one person has that drive and they're just such go-getters and they're so accomplished, but they're with someone who is a bit apathetic about life, that just as a personality trait might be too much of a clash, no matter how much you love one another. And I hate to say it, but that's just the truth of the matter. All right, pick a number, 1, 2, or 3. You are now going to pick your advice cards. And while I'm shuffling, please do comment below about how this reading has resonated with you and tell me about this other person. I love reading your comments so much. All right, 1, 2, or 3. Yeah, but please do tell me. But I definitely see you getting strong in the end. Your outcome is the Strength card, and sometimes that can be a bit of a Leo energy as well. All right, 1, 2, or 3. Pick the first number that pops out in your head. Never second guess yourself, okay? If you picked one, let's see what we've got. You are moving on from the pain. Look at that. Chariot, that represents you in your fullest, most powerful essence as a sign. Beneath the surface, we've got the 4 of Wands, completion, end of this cycle, and advice is the 10 of Swords. Okay, so I know that you Cancers can be a little bit sensitive. Sometimes your egos can be bruised a little bit quite easily. But you are putting on, you're doing it, you're putting on your big curl panties, and you are just dusting yourself off, you're moving on. You have completed this cycle, you've completed this lesson, you've learned more about family, about life, about staying true to the spiritual energy and integrity and acting on inspiration, but also like moving forward logically. You're able to brush things off a little bit better, but there's still improvement, because with the 10 of Swords, as an advice card, I know it looks a bit scary, but as an advice card, it's saying it's over, it's done, the final nail is in the coffin. But you can't just lie around feeling sorry for yourself, which is easy to do, okay? But you eventually have to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and move on. And you're really good at doing that, so do it. If you pick 2, if you pick 2, this was definitely a love relationship that went sour. We've got the Lovers, the 7 of Cups, debauch, and then the 6 of Pentacles. So you need to get centered again. You need to meditate. You need to understand that, okay, you know what? This love didn't go the way that you wanted. By the way, this can sometimes be a business partnership. This can be a love relationship outside of the main partnership. I'm just saying what I'm saying, all right? Just saying what the cards are saying. But it definitely went sour. It's in a toxic, not good way. And that's really disappointing, obviously. You need to become centered again. You need to be able to come balanced. You need to be able to say that, love comes, love goes. Oxygen comes, and then we exhale it. Money comes, money goes. There are all changes, and just do your best to try and accept that that's just a part of life, right? Okay, 3. If you picked 3. All right. Cool. if you picked 3, we've got on the surface 4 of Cups, Prince of Wands beneath the surface, and the Magician as your advice card. So you're definitely feeling a bit disappointed, but it has woken up this inspirational spiritual energy within you, this drive for something more, you know. I don't see you, you know, feeling sorry for yourself for too long, because you've got this fire in your belly that's just beginning to come to a roar, and I do see you in the future bursting forth with spiritual energy. And guess what? Don't just let this energy go anyway, right? Because fire, you know, when controlled, can cook a delicious meal and, you know, heat a bath and help you with the survival things that you need for life, okay? But when fire is not controlled, it can wipe out an entire city, okay? So you need to, yes, you have this energy, but harness this energy, focus this energy, visualize what you want in the future, and you will get that. You may not feel emotionally like that now, but I think you should start thinking about it, because you've got that energy brewing within you to get whatever you want to manifest. So well done. If you'd like a private reading, send me an email or check out my website. That's all in the information below. You can also follow me on social media. And definitely make sure you're subscribed, because I do monthly and mid-monthly readings. And if you're still here, you get a secret bonus card. All right. Secret bonus card. All right. Oh, 2 of Wands. It is now time to start planning the direction of your life. Plan, plan, plan what makes you feel excited, what makes you feel joyful, what gives you inspiration. Plan, because you can do it. Have a great month. Bye.